So we play against
Donner.
Donner.
In,
Against the King's Indian for black, of course. Yeah, G6. And again, the move G3. Again, this positional line. Yeah. Bishop G7, Bishop G2, castle, Bishop C, Knight C3, D6, Knight F3, no? And again, Knight D7. Knight D7, castle, and E5, right? Okay, E4. This time he didn't take. No, he played E4, normal. Okay, C6 theory. Until now, everything theory. The Botvinnik variation. This is called like this. Rook B1. And here, A6. Now he's preparing, I mean, he doesn't want to do something very quickly, but he forces you to take the decision with white. I mean, if white here plays, for instance, A4 against the threat B5, black can transpose and play himself the move A5 and has control of the black squares. This is well known in theory now. Black has a very strong position afterwards, because later on he can trade in D4 and he has control the C5 square, the B4 square. It's very good for black, even now in theory from our days. But then he played immediately before, and after before, tactical position again, very tactical. He took in D4, he took with the knight, of course, and here rook E8. First of all, he takes control of the file, the E file. All right. So what to do? Has to be very careful already. Why? Because black has control of the central squares and he's preparing the counterplay very quickly, The idea is very clear because he comes with tempo in E5 with the knight, attacking the pawn from C4, and therefore he has time to have a very strong counterplay on the queen side, you see, very quickly. So, right, knight E5. What to do? Queen E2, normal, no? And here, again, move by move, you see, B5. Now what to do? Now, unfortunately for white, has to take in B5, because otherwise, if you lose the pawn from C4, too much.
But if he push?
If he push, again, he has time to take in C5, and the knight is attacked. You can resign again with white, you see? Because you lost at least one pawn for nothing. So what to do? He has to take. Now he takes with a C pawn. He opens completely the position and the big diagonal for the white bishop. The bishop from B7 will come with tempo attacking the E4 square. All right. So again, as I told you, move by move. Okay, bishop B7 now. Bishop B7, F4. Okay, that was white hope. You see, but the position now is very open and clearly better for black, because black has the initiative, very strong initiative already. This is for King's Indian. Usually, this is a dream position for black. You see why? Because every piece is there. He's attacking every opponent good square. I mean, he has complete initiative, and white has to defend such a. But this is very bad for white already after the opening. So we see what happens next. Okay, queen d3. All right, rook c8. You see, the simplest way, the rook is coming. In principle, he wants, again, the second open file. The E file is for black. The C file is also for black. So, okay, what did he play here? King h2. Sad, but necessary, because if not, the king will be pinned after queen b6, with terrible threats later on. And here, queen c7. Now, again, he's threatening something, again, the knight from c3. So what to do? What did he play? Rook b3. I mean, everything is protected. He doesn't lose material. But rook e7. Now he changes again the idea. He wants maybe to attack 3 times or 4 times the pawn from e4 by playing simply the other rook in e8. Okay, rook e1. And here, rook e8. Okay, you see, black had the best position against every weakness. White had some artificial position. The rook in b3 is not all right. the queen in d3 is not all right. I mean, not the best position. And he has only to defend without any counterplay. You see, white has nothing and black has everything. You see?
Not easy to.
Yeah, very difficult, of course. And of course, against Bobby, knight c2. And here, queen c8. This is preparing in some other lines, look, rook c8, queen c8, queen a8. After queen a8, the white is lost.
Doubling.
Too many times the pawn e4 is attacked. If you lose the e4 pawn, you lose the game. Yeah. So, okay, what to do? Knight e3. It seems to be the only way, And here, well, he took. Now you have to take with the rook. Because if you take with the bishop, you lose probably the pawn from e4. Because the bishop is, in e3 and the rook in e1 doesn't protect the pawn. So, okay, king takes, and now knight takes e4, decisive. Knight takes e4 because the bishop from c1 is unprotected at the end.
Okay. Yes. So
everything is very clear, but everything was crystal clear until now, you see. Every move was not forced, but very logical,
Yes.
Okay, he took there. Well, not to resign. It was not to resign, but look at this. Without the white bishop and with such a king. Of course, white is lost here. Now, what did he play? Rook d7. Now look at this. Catastrophe for white. Rook c7. And he had to give the queen. Because if it doesn't give the queen is lost, or you lose the piece from c3. If you don't give the queen, you have to move the queen in d6 or in b6. And then the knight from c3 is lost. Okay, he gave the queen. He took now and bishop d4 and resign. No? Yeah.
Resigned, yes.
Look at this. Finally, he has only queen and bishop attacking the king, but it's decisive because the king is too exposed and the white piece is too far away. The rook in b3 is doing nothing, the bishop from c1 is doing nothing, and if he gives you one check in e2, is enough. Now you have to trade the rook, because if you move the rook e2 check, you resign immediately.
Yeah.
Terrible punishment again. And Donner was in that time one of the first 20 or 30 in the world. Look at this. Immediately after the opening, the difference, one or two moves. B4 was too optimistic, you see. After B4, everything was more or less forced.
It was too tactical.
Yeah.
For Donner.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Gugio.
Yeah.